وَإِذْ بَوَّأْنَا لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ مَكَانَ الْبَيْتِ أَلَّا تُشْرِكْ بِي شَيْئًا وَطَهِّرْ بَيْتِيَ لِلطَّائِفِينَ وَالْقَائِمِينَ وَالرُّكَّعِ السُّجُودِ وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ.
Now that we're in front of the Kaaba, what do I pray? The sixth Imam has said, you are Allah's guest. Ask and you will be given. Pray and you will be answered. Implore for intercession and they will be accepted. And remain silent and you will be blessed. So exactly what prayers do I do in front of the Kaaba then? The sixth Imam went on further. He said Allah sends 120 blessings when people are in the precincts of the Kaaba. You get 60 blessings for doing the tawaf, the circumambulation around the Kaaba. You get 40 blessings for worship of any kind, be it salah, recitation of Quran or du'as. And you get 20 blessings simply looking at the Kaaba and pondering over the majesty of Allah and reflecting on His attributes. So of those 120 blessings in total, the ratio is to 60, 40, 20, or in other words, the ratio is to 3, 2, 1. So for the prayers in front of the Kaaba, it's the tawaf, the worship, and reflecting on the attributes of Allah to get His blessings. So let us now look at the significance of rituals. When doing an activity or an action, we have a choice of two things to do. We either do it as a ritual without understanding why we are doing it, or we do it as a ritual, at the same time try and understand the reasoning and the spirit behind it. So in ritual we have R, I, T, U, A, L. Would it be not nice when I'm doing something first I'm R, I'm reminded of the hidden aspect or of the inner meaning of the action that I'm doing. Having been reminded of it, and then if I could have the I, if I could ignite my brain to inquire as to why I am doing this particular action, why am I doing it this way? So if I can find out the meaning behind the action I'm doing, and then T, transcend from the obvious meaning of what I'm doing to the inner meaning, to the hidden meaning of the ritual that I am performing. And then U, if I can unearth, if I can find out more, the inner meaning, it will make more sense of the ritual that I am performing. Having found the inner meaning, I then go to A. I ascend to a new height of understanding the spirituality of the action that I am doing. And then finally L, link the action I am doing with the limbs of my body to the spiritual aspect of it, which will connect it to my soul. And Hajj is nothing but a coupling between ritual and spiritual. Doing ritual alone or doing the spiritual aspects alone will not have the maximum impact. I need the coupling of those two, the rituals with the understanding of the spirituality, to understand Hajj in its entirety. But rituals are not only restricted to the period of Hajj. We do rituals outside the Hajj. And the most classic example is Salah. If we consider Salah as simply doing exercises of physical, standing up, going into ruku and sujood, that will be a ritual on its own. But for each of these exercise, for each of these ritual that we are doing, there is a dua behind it, there is a recitation behind it, and each of those actions has got a meaning behind it. So Salah, by simply doing the exercises, becomes a ritual, but by understanding every action behind it, it becomes a ritual coupled with a spiritual. Similarly, when we perform wudu, wudu on its entirety of a ritual would be nothing but washing and cleaning ourselves with water. But we are told from the hadith that for every action that we do in a wudu, there is a dua behind it, there is a spiritual aspect behind it. So instead of just becoming a simple ritual, it becomes a ritual coupled with a spiritual. Ask any student who graduates. At the end of graduation, they have to wear an abba, they have a graduating robe. It's become a ritual across all institutions throughout the world. But that ritual of wearing a gown at the end of graduation has a meaning behind it. And it all started in the old days when teachers used to use blackboard and chalk to keep the dust of the chalk away from the clothes. The teachers who were graduates used to wear this abba. So abba on its own is a ritual, but it has a meaning behind it. Again, if we look on the national scale, every country has a memorial of some kind to remember their fallen soldiers. What is this memorial? If it's a ritual, it's just a stone. But behind that stone, on a specific day, when wreaths and flowers and prayers are said over it, it carries a spirit behind it. So the ritual combined with the spiritual has all got a meaning behind it. In fact, Quran, when it talks about Hajj, it mentions not only the rituals, but also the spiritual side. In Surah Al-Hajj, chapter 22, the common verse that we hear is verse 27.
وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ.
And proclaim to mankind the pilgrimage. They will come to you on foot, on every lean camel, and from every remote part. What is not often mentioned is the following verse, verse 28, in which it says,
لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ وَيَذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَّعْلُومَاتٍ عَلَى مَا رَزَقَهُم مِّن بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا وَأَطْعِمُوا الْبَائِسَ الْفَقِيرَ.
That they may witness advantages for them and mention the names of Allah during the appointed days. So verse 28 clearly says there will be the rituals of mentioning the names during the time of Hajj. But the purpose of it is so they may witness advantages for them. In other words, for all the rituals during the time of Hajj, there is a spiritual behind it, as Allah Himself says. Right, let us look at the spiritual aspect of ihram. What is ihram? For menfolk, ihram is a simple two-piece of clothing with flip-flops as the slippers. And the clothing is so simple that not even a single stitch is allowed. So if we look at the spirit of ihram, we have E, H, R, A, and M. The E stands for engagement. As soon as we wear ihram, it is the beginning of the spiritual engagement with Allah. And it all starts with another ritual, the religious shower, the ghusl. The religious shower, in its ritual, it's simply a washing of the body with soap and water. But the spirit behind it is not the washing of the body, it is the cleansing of the soul as we wash the body. So that ghusl, that religious shower, starts off the process of wearing the ihram. The wearing of ihram symbolizes another engagement for the Eid. It symbolizes temporary engagement, and it will symbolize a permanent engagement. A temporary engagement in wearing these two simple white clothing is during the time of Hajj. But more importantly, there is a permanent engagement after Hajj, for when we go to the intermediate world and the hereafter, our permanent abode, we will be going in exactly the same kind of uniform, simple white clothing. So ihram signifies engagement during Hajj and after Hajj when I return to Allah. The H in ihram is for harmony. For now, in this simple clothing, my attention is now exclusively focused on Allah. The worries and the issues of the worldly affairs that I have left behind should now be removed from my mind. Those issues will take care of themselves. They have taken care of themselves before, they are doing it now in my absence when I'm in Hajj, and they will do it in the future. So the H is now in harmony exclusively with Allah. It is also in harmony with my fellow pilgrims, with my fellow Hujjaj, because they are all, without exception, also dressed in the same uniform. There is no distinction now in front of Allah, regardless of what nationality, regardless of race, of color, of wealth, of language, of social standing, of profession, of any postcode, of any zip code. We are all in it together, in harmony, focused on Allah. The R in ihram is for redemption. Having now clothed myself in ihram, I want to redeem myself through the rituals of Hajj. I want to R to reach out to Allah, and R for reconnecting my connection to Allah, and to resolve that after Hajj I will start leading an Islamic way of lifestyle, and R to repent my past sins, and R to resist any future ones. So this R is for redemption in ihram. The A in ihram is for abstinence. In the state of ihram, I've been asked not to perform certain things. They now become forbidden. Things which were allowed outside the state of ihram now become forbidden in the state of ihram. And these forbidden things are simple mundane things like clipping of the nails, an innocent activity, but it is now forbidden in ihram. Why? It is simply to train me, to discipline me, that if this is what Allah commands, then without question, unreservedly, I follow His command. So it trains me in discipline, in abstaining from mundane things. And the training is this: if I can abstain from mundane things during Hajj, it will give me the training and the discipline to abstain from other less mundane things outside Hajj. So this abstinence in ihram is training me for discipline in Hajj and outside Hajj. Outside Hajj, if I abstain from forbidden things, there is no merit in it, for it is required for me to abstain from forbidden things. But if I am disciplined to abstain from permitted things, and it brings me closer to Allah, then the ihram has served its purpose of abstinence in disciplining me. For example, If it means watching TV or a football match at the punctual time of Salah, it is permitted to watch TV and football. But if I abstain from watching it at the punctual time, it will bring me closer to Allah. And that ihram in abstinence, therefore, will discipline me after Hajj. The M in ihram is for mindset. The instant I put on the clothing of ihram, my whole mindset has got to change in spirit. The wearing of ihram is a physical thing. The spirit behind it is my focus is now exclusively on the start of this spiritual journey. Ihram forces me to condition my mind in that I realize I am the lowly creature and Allah is the one who is at the highest level. I have been stripped of all my other clothing except for these two simple clothing. The spirit behind it is, it strips me of my ego, of my pretensions, so that I am now going to get rid of these not only during Hajj but also after Hajj. The wearing of these two simple clothings in ihram forces me to think of death that is to come, for it is the same kind of clothing that I will be shrouded in, the kafan, during the intermediate world and the hereafter. So therefore the M of ihram here puts me in a different mindset, not only in Hajj but also after Hajj. So ihram, the E stands for engagement, the H for harmony, the R for redemption, the A for abstinence, and M for the change of mindset during and after Hajj. Let us now look at the spirit behind the talbiyah. What is talbiyah? Talbiyah is a ritual of recitation, and in Arabic we say the first part of it, labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. Here I am, O Allah, here I am. But during this physical recitation, what is the spirit behind it? When I say I am here, what do I actually mean? Because I'm already here. Physically, I'm already in Makkah, already in the plains of Makkah, the cities of Makkah. Therefore, when I say I'm here, I do not mean physical. What I'm asking is to say I'm here at your invitation. Labbaik, it is your invitation that has brought me here. Many others have wanted to come, they could not come. It is your invitation that I am here for. And when we say labbaik, it is now a start to say I am ready to start on this journey. I have put on my ihram and I am ready now to start on this journey. But more importantly, when we say labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, is to say I want to be here spiritually. Physically, I'm already here. It is that spiritual presence that I need. We have from our hadith that when the imams used to recite the talbiyah, they used to tremble at the recitation. And they even used to faint. Such was the gravity of the recitation, because they understood that when they recite this, it is not the physical presence they were thanking for, it was asking for the acceptance of the spiritual presence. So when we say labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, it is not the spiritual, it's not the physical presence, it is the spiritual presence that we are asking for. In the second part of the talabiyah, we're going to say in Arabic, labbaik, la sharika laka labbaik. Here I am, you have no partner, here I am. Now here the partners, the physical partner is the material partner of God, in which you say you have no partner. But there is also the spiritual aspect of partnership. Because materialistically we say you have no partner, that is fine. But now spiritually we want to disassociate any partnership, any materialistic partnership with Allah. So for example, after Hajj, when I come back to my hometown, what are the materialistic things which will associate as partners to Allah? It could be, for example, watching TV. It could be sports. It could be family. It could be my business. All these things spiritually can be regarded as partners to Allah. For if I associate with these activities and they keep me away from Allah, it means I'm associating partners with Allah. So in talabiyah in Hajj, when I say labbaik, la sharika laka labbaik, here I am, you have no partner, here I am. I am first affirming during Hajj, he has no physical partners and he has no spiritual partner, in that my focus is now exclusively on him and on him alone. And after Hajj, when I come back, I disassociate with materialistic partnership, which will keep me getting any closer to Allah at the right time. So talabiyah, therefore, it is not only a ritual recitation. The spirit behind it is to say, I want the spiritual presence during Hajj and not to associate any materialistic partnership with Allah after Hajj.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا